It was near midnight when 22-year-old Lena cut through Birchwood Park, something she'd done dozens of times before. The lamps were dim, the fog unusually thick, and the sound of her footsteps on the path felt too loud, almost like the darkness was listening. Then she saw her, a woman sitting on a swing, barefoot, wearing a thin white dress, her long hair covering her face. The swing wasn't moving, but the chains were trembling like someone had just hopped off. Lena slowed down. Her heart started pounding for no reason she could explain. "Are you okay?" Lena called out. The woman didn't move. Not even her breathing. Something in Lena told her to keep walking. She turned, and the sound of creaking chains echoed behind her. Slow, steady, like someone was pushing the swing in slow motion. She looked back. The swing was moving, but the woman still sat perfectly still, hands limp, hair hiding her face. Lena's throat tightened. She took a step back. That's when the woman's head snapped upward. So fast, so unnaturally. Lena heard the crack of her neck. Her eyes were wide, black and glassy. And even though she didn't speak, Lena heard a whisper in her ear. A whisper she wasn't sure came from the woman or the darkness itself. Lena ran until she burst out of the park, gasping. When she looked back, the swing was motionless. The woman was gone. Police later told her no one had been reported in the park. But Lena already knew that. The woman wasn't living, and she wasn't alone. David loved early morning runs before sunrise. The path along Redwood Park was quiet, peaceful, almost meditative, but one cold October morning, everything felt wrong. The birds weren't singing, the air felt heavy, and there was a sour smell in the grass, like something rotting. Halfway through his run, he heard footsteps behind him. Not fast, not slow, just matching his pace. He assumed it was another jogger, but when he turned to wave, no one was there. He shrugged it off and kept running. The footsteps got louder, closer. Breathing joined them, low, rasping, almost wet. David's heart hammered. He turned again. Still nothing. He sprinted the final path, refusing to look back. When he finally reached the park exit, he collapsed by a bench, panting. That's when someone whispered his name. Not from behind him. Not beside him. From UNDR the bench. A pale hand shot out, grabbing his ankle so tightly it bruised through his sock. David screamed and kicked until the hand let go. He stumbled back and watched as something, thin, long, limbed, and twisted, pulled itself back into the shadows beneath the bench like it had been living there. When police inspected the area later, they found scratches beneath the bench. Deep ones. Animal-like but too long, too deliberate. David never ran that trail again. He also never told anyone the worst part. Whatever that thing was, it whispered his full name, which he never said aloud. This story comes from a mother who said she'd rather be called Erin. One warm evening, she took her 6-year-old son, Jonah, to Willow Creek Park. He ran straight to the tall metal slide he loved. Erin sat on a nearby bench, scrolling her phone while keeping one eye on him, until she blinked. Just one innocent blink, and Jonah was gone. Erin bolted to the slide. "Jonah," she shouted. Her voice echoed across the empty park. A man walking his dog helped her search. Together, they looked behind trees, under the play structure, in the bathrooms. Nothing. Then, the dog started growling, staring at a cluster of trees at the far end of the park. Trees thick enough that the sky barely shone through. Erin called her son's name again. Silence. She walked into the trees. Her heart pounded harder with every step. Then she heard it, a soft, shaky whisper, "Mom, help." She spun around. "Jonah." The voice came again, but it sounded distorted, like it was being repeated through someone else. Mum. I'm stuck. When Erin reached the source of the voice, her blood ran cold. There was no child, just a hollow in the ground, dark and deep. The voice came again from inside it. The man with the dog grabbed her arm. That's not your son, he whispered. The dog was trembling, tail tucked between its legs. Erin called the police. They searched for hours. They found Jonah half a mile away, wandering barefoot near a creek bed. Dazed, confused, but alive. When they asked him if he called for his mom from the woods, he shook his head. No, he said softly. But something was calling me. It sounded like you. Erin never went back to that park. And she still wonders what was waiting in that hollow, and what it would have done if she'd answered the voice again.